You're listening to a Brooklyn Nets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Nets fans! Welcome to another Brooklyn Nets show here on the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and the Nets are really starting to tick me off. I understand it's only 7 games into the season, but this is a team that I thought of as a title contender, and not just me. Smarter minds than me also said that the Nets could contend for a title. But the way this team is playing, they don't look anything like a title contender. Besides Durant and Kyrie, they have no consistent third option. Can Joe Harris get it done in some games? Yeah, but like all three-point shooters, he's really streaky. Caris LeVert is turning into a really streaky player. Besides the blowout on opening day against the Warriors and the Grizzlies game, he hasn't scored more than 10 points in a game this season. Landry Shamet looks lost. He had a big game against the Hawks. Congratulations. He's done nothing besides that. DeAndre Jordan looks abysmal. Jared Allen needs to start. And he needs to be in there in crunch time. What was Steve Nash doing going small late in the game? You've got to put Allen in there. He's your best interior presence. A lot of these trade packages that are being thrown out for the Nets involve Jared Allen. I don't know if I want him gone at this point. This team is playing no defense whatsoever. The Washington Wizards, a team that couldn't get anything going before they faced the Nets, drops 123 points on them. Their last 5 games, they've given up over 100 points in each of them. The one game they won out of those 5, they put up 145 points. You know how many points they gave up? 141. You want to tell me that all of this is due to Spencer Dinwiddie being out? The Nets had really good depth. I understand it got tested really early on, but Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot should be able to hold his own. Instead, he's just really streaky. You can't have 2 streaky shooters out there in Joe Harris and TLC. Harris is much less streaky than TLC, believe me, but like all three-point shooters, there's an element of streakiness there. The reality is, these games should show you that the Nets do need a third guy. It's not Caris LeVert. It's not Jared Allen. It's not DeAndre Jordan. They need a third banana. If a James Harden trade is going to happen, let it happen sooner rather than later. If the Rockets still don't want to trade him, then the Nets are going to need to get better around the edges. They've got to add some wing defenders. They've got to add some perimeter defenders. Their interior defense is fine. I'm okay with DeAndre Jordan and Jarrett Allen there. They're really good defenders. But the wing and the perimeter needs a lot of work. I can't give you any specific names. I only know of these stars that are potentially available. It's too early for any of the role players to really become available. You've got to wait for the teams to play a little bit more. Now, I don't want anything crazy to happen. Alright, I'm not saying you make a stupid trade for a role player involving a bunch of picks, or you trade a guy like LeVert for pennies on the dollar. The season is still young. We're only 7 games into the season. But what did I say before the season started? Steve Nash isn't going to have the luxury of a slow start. They're 3-4, and they just lost to one of the worst teams in the NBA. Are the Wizards going to get better? Probably. But before they faced the Nets, they were 1-5. They were terrible. Instead, they end up going toe-to-toe with this team. Durant and Kyrie couldn't outduel Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. DeAndre Jordan and Jarrett Allen are good interior defenders. They just are. Which is what makes Thomas Bryant's performance yesterday so incredible. The guy had a double-double, 21 points and 14 rebounds. He was insane. Every loose ball late in the game, it seemed like Bryant had it. The Nets need to get this sorted out quickly. This is what I was afraid of in hiring an unproven head coach. How is he going to deal with the expectations? A season is peaks and valleys. The Nets are in a valley right now. This community approach to being the head coach? No. Steve Nash is the head coach. He needs to put his big boy pants on and say, guys, we're not playing up to our standards. We're not playing good enough defense. You role players, you're not helping out my 2 stars enough. We've got to step up and play like the title contenders we are. The reality is they're not playing well right now. You don't want that to go on for an extended period of time. I'm not sounding any alarm bells yet. I'm not saying fire Nash. I'm not saying that the Durant and Kyrie experiment is a failure. No. We're 7 games into the season. But the Nets are really frustrating me right now. They need to make changes before it's too late. I'll say this. A great litmus test for them is going to be the game on Thursday against the 76ers. If they win that game, we can breathe as Nets fans. Even if they lose close, you can't get too bent out of shape about it. But if they get blown out and lose by 20 or more, something's gonna need to change very, very quickly. Regular episode of the Jacob Valk Show comes your way this afternoon. It's gonna be very football heavy. Both professional and collegiate. In the evening, a very long New York Jets off-season preview. It's over 2 hours long. I didn't expect it to be that long, but the reality is there's a lot to talk about with the Jets in their offseason. It's a very important offseason. It's all I've had to look forward to as a Jets fan for a while. January 11th, you're going to get a New York Islanders show. That's going to serve as my Islanders season preview. The 18th, Brooklyn Nets. The 25th, New York Islanders. It's going to alternate from there. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying that John Smiley should change his name to John Frowny.